Another year has come and gone, and wow, what a year. Going into this year, a lot of people said it was going to be a dry year in regards to gaming and events and whatnot, but this year had so much going on, I could barely keep up. Just from my end alone, I worked on my backlog, I got a Fortnite creator code, I have a second channel now, I got an Instagram, I got a Blue Sky, I went to my first ever out-of-state convention, and I had a Krabby Patty. What do you mean nothing happened this year? Anyways, you guys know the drill. I'm going to share what all I did this year in terms of the media I consumed. This includes video games, movies, anime, and TV shows. Though keep in mind this list had a hard cutoff date of December 1st, with a couple exceptions. So don't be upset with me if you don't see Marvel Rivals or Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on this list. Editor's note. I ended up really liking Sonic 3 and Marvel Rivals, and you know what? Fuck it. It's the holidays. I have some extra time. I will add them to this list and share my thoughts. Ignore what I'm saying here. And yeah, back to the video. But don't worry, this video is a lot longer than last year, so there is a lot to chew on here. So sit down, grab a snack, and enjoy. Yo, I think the far from lethal, but it seems big a company. What's there to say about this game that hasn't been said about it? This game is the game to play with your friends, and it spawned hundreds of memes and funny moments. You play as an employee with the sole mission of going to planets, collecting scrap for the company, and failure to do so results in death. Simple premise, and yet it works so effectively thanks to the proximity chat. Oh, and also this game got a skin in Fortnite, so if that doesn't sell the impact that this game has had on the internet, I don't know what will.
Her sister was a witch! Right?
Ever wanted to play as a hot lady with hack and slash gameplay where you can rack up combos? Look no further than Bayonetta 1. I will say right off the bat, this game did not hit for me. Probably because I suck really badly at it, but even then, it just didn't grab me for a variety of reasons. I think my main gripe is the little ranking system at the end of each chapter that would tell you how well you played. And well, let's just say it was really demotivating and depressing to see after battling your heart out, fighting for your life, only to be given the stone trophy. And it would be one thing to just ignore the combat and just play the game for the story, but the story just did not grab me at all much either, and I really couldn't tell you why. Bayonetta herself though, and that guy who's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, are pretty cool though at least. I plan to try Bayonetta 2 soon though, so maybe I'll end up liking that a bit more, but I am not feeling hopeful about it. I just don't think this series is for me. I'm sorry, bros. This has to be one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played, for a variety of reasons. Not only is it a really good modern interpretation of games like Ninja Gaiden, but it also does a good job of being a damn good 2D platformer that is actually surprisingly challenging. The plot is really simple as well. It's about delivering the message. But you later realize there's more to it than the delivery of the message, and one thing leads to another, and the 2D platformer you play not only has a past and future mechanic that drastically changes the level design between eras you traverse, but also later on eventually turned into a goddamn Metroidvania. I don't think I ever played anything like this in my life. Subspace does not count, shut up. This game is a mecha shooter thing similar to Star Fox, and it was pretty fun for a bit, but then it gets a little repetitive and painful on your wrists, and yeah, it's just kind of alright. You play as the president of Japan, who pilots a mech, and your mission is to destroy these machines taking over Japan, and liberate the world from its control. There's nothing more than that. It was a fun experience for the $8 I spent, but it's definitely nothing crazy, though the anime opening for the game is pretty cool. Who's to say Mario 64 can be the only low-quality 3D platformer out there? Of course, Celeste of all games would want a piece of that pie, and oh my god, is it great. I don't know how they seemingly reprogrammed the majority of Celeste's mechanics into this 3D environment, but they did it, and it's pretty fun. Oh, and also this game is free for the celebration of Celeste's 6th anniversary of existing, so that's cool. Why not give it a shot?
Reblog if you would date a robot. I'm not a robot. I'm just asking for a friend. I have skin.
The remake to Persona 3 is finally here, and as somebody who didn't play the original, I thought this was the best time to finally experience it, and it's really good. Though I will say, compared to Persona 4 and 5, which I have played prior before playing this, for some reason this game just did not hit as hard as those two did. Whether it be because the themes did not strike a chord for me, or the characters did not resonate with me. Needless to say, for a game about living your life to the fullest and finding meaning and living in it, the game just does not have much life in it. I know that's the unpopular opinion, and depending on who you ask, they might say this is the greatest game to have ever come out of the RPG genre, but I don't know, this game just did not do it for me. Like, it is a great RPG, I just think it's average for Atlas standards. Though I will say the score for this game is top notch, though that is expected for a Persona title. And while I'm here, I might as well talk about Episode Aegis since that also came out this year. 3 words. Waste of money. I think it's really cool to see the characters' interactions and thoughts and feelings over a certain event that happened at the end of the game. And I would have loved for that to be explored more, but instead we get 20 to 30 hours of dungeon crawling and battles, which is fine if you like the combat, and I do, but with no story beats in between or break from the combat every once in a while, it starts to get extremely repetitive and tedious. It also does the same shit I hate in Tears of the Kingdom, where you'll see a shadow version of the protagonist and the party's all like, "Oh, is that our leader? I wonder why he's running away." No, it's not him. Shut up. Why are you all so stupid? Whoever invented this trope needs to stop, because it's not cute or clever in any way whatsoever. We, the player, are not this incompetent. I mean, sure, it only happened twice, but it's twice too many. Please stop. The battle theme is pretty good, as well as the base game's battle theme, but both of them are really good. The voice acting is also good here, but everything else is shit. Please do not spend $35 on this DLC, but the base game is pretty good if you want to grab that. It just personally did not vibe with me, but if you like RPGs, you'll definitely enjoy this one.
Full ice cream gives you health.
How do I say I love a game so much and that everything about it is awesome and amazing, but also say it's the worst thing ever because it has the worst controls ever and therefore ruins the whole game? Oh, the dilemma. So Pit makes his epic return on the 3DS with a fresh coat of new gameplay and story, and it's all amazing. I genuinely have nothing to really add that YouTubers like Shay Frillis hasn't already said. So I would highly recommend you go watch this video. And please, if somebody at Nintendo's watching this video, please put this game on Switch. This game desperately needed it yesterday.
Playing Russian roulette?
Oh, did you win?
You're not really familiar with the game, are ya?
It's roulette with a shotgun. It's not really a complex game or anything, but the game's underground rave vibe is so immaculate and awesome. And the music. This is rave music. Also, they recently added a multiplayer mode, and it's surprisingly fun as well. So if you and your squad have this game, you can play some lethal roulette with them as well.
You know, I met this other Neon earlier who was a total simp.
This is definitely one of the most unique games I've ever played. It's a speedrunner game where you have to kill demons and use cards that somehow give you access to guns. And you are doing this to appease the angels, who are giving you the opportunity to fight off these demons and the chance of making it to the promised land. Though admittedly, the plot isn't really this game's selling point, it's more so the gameplay. Like I said earlier, it's a speedrunner game where you try to complete the levels in the fastest time possible and compete with your friends to do so. Despite not being a big speedrunner at all, this game somehow makes speedrunning so fun and fluid, and by the end of it, you'll want to go back and try to get better times on your levels. Not much else to say other than that it's really fun.
Prince Ali, yes, it is he, but not as you know him.
I stood by this game when nobody else would. Yes, it's made by Ubisoft, and the people behind that name aren't the best, but the people behind this specific game are really passionate about making this game, and I wanted to see it for myself. So I bought the game, and what did I think of it? I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's a Metroidvania where you play as a guy named Sargon, and you are trying to rescue the prince that has been kidnapped. Throughout your adventure, you will uncover various secrets of Mount Koth and gain new abilities as well, which will not only help you platform, but also combat as well, including time manipulation powers and Athra surges. The story admittedly isn't the best, but everything else about it was amazing and genuinely surprised me this year. And I highly recommend it to anybody who's a fan of the Metroidvania genre.
A worthless piece of paper.
Nintendo decided to remake this game, so just like Persona 3 Reload, I could finally play it in a modernized form. So how did I enjoy it? It's alright. I definitely can see why people hold this game up to such a high regard, and honestly, I enjoyed learning the intricacies of the combat system, but I kind of just wish there was more. I don't know, the most fun I had playing this game was the Pit of Trials, where I was pushed to my limits and was forced to develop a strategy for it. But the actual plot and narrative of the whole thing? I don't know, it was okay, I guess. Definitely happy for Paper Mario fans, but I just sort of played it and moved on in my life, and that's fine. Not every game needs to blow you away and make you rethink your entire livelihood after playing it. It doesn't mean I don't like the game, Twitter.com.
Yes, a hideous rule.
Definitely the roguelike of all time. Not that that's a bad thing, though. I feel like every genre has that one game you can point to and be like, yeah, Call of Duty does indeed shoot guns. Hades, in this case, is the game I'd like to point at that does roguelikes really well. You play as the son of Hades, Zagreus, and your mission is to escape hell and reach the surface and find out what happened to your mother Persephone. And that's all you really need to know. You go through various floors of these dungeons, and every time you clear one, you get an upgrade or boon of some sort that strengthens or adds something to your moveset. It's really simple, but it's addicting and super fun, and I sunk way too many hours into it. On an unrelated note, however, I want to highlight the fact that no matter how many times I talk to the characters in this game, they somehow always have something new to say, both in voiced form and in regular text. And it's seriously impressive considering how many times you will die in this game, so that's pretty neat.
You are a pirate!
I wanted to love this game. I really did. It had some amazing ideas and concepts, and a really creative battle system and some really good JRPG music. And overall, it does a really good job of modernizing Chrono Trigger in a way like never before. But Octopath Traveler did it better. Okay, jokes aside, what's got me in a frenzy? Well, for one, I just did not vibe with any of the characters at all. Except for Garl. I love this guy. Though he seriously needs better friends because nobody in this game deserves him. A lot of the characters just lack a personality, like, at all. And you realize pretty quickly the protagonists you're playing as have nothing unique about them as leads. And it's kind of a little sad. Not only that, this game does a lot of yapping. Yeah, RPGs do that, but this one does a lot of telling and not showing. For example, Valere and Zale will talk about how great the previous Soul Sentence warriors are and what kind of adventures they went on, but we just never see it. And I feel that's really important because of a certain twist that happens in the game that I feel would have been a lot better if we had prior knowledge of who these people were rather than learning about their backstory 40 hours into the game. And on top of all that, you are given some of the coolest attacks ever in the game to use, but they are all locked behind your combo meter, and half the fights you do in this game don't last long enough for you to be able to use any of them, so you see these cool attacks and you don't get to use any of them until boss fights show up. There is quite a bit more to dislike about this game, but if you're curious about that, I would recommend watching Misshapen Chair's video on the subject, as he explains it way better than I can. But trust me when I say this game had everything going for it for me to like it, but it just did not hit for me. Okay, you know what, just to prove I'm not a blind hater, Stripe, can you show some epic gameplay from the game while blasting Encounter Elite?
Well, excuse me, princess.
Time to admit, I still haven't finished this one. But I am enjoying what I'm playing so far. Loving the music, loving the atmosphere, I love the characters, I love Midna. And yeah, it's a traditional Zelda game. I definitely need to play one of these because I feel like it's been a minute since the last one. And while I do like Breath of the Wild, I wanted to try to explore the series' roots a bit more. And so I played Twilight Princess. Hopefully next year I'll get to Wind Waker, or Echoes of Wisdom though. Another game I still haven't finished. I am a fraud. This game is made by the developers of Rain on Your Parade, but instead of playing as a cloud terrorizing people, you play as a crow terrorizing people. I'm just saying, I think the devs found a golden idea here. I can't wait to play more of this game, but in the meantime, I don't know, go watch crows sit on electrical poles outside or something. I don't know.
A fucking gun!
It's a battle royale, but Call of Duty. To be honest, I don't have much to say about this game either, considering it just feels like Fortnite, but with Call of Duty mechanics. But considering how much I play Fortnite, I kind of needed a bit of a shake-up in the genre, and I think I got that here. I will say I do enjoy the second chance mechanic in the form of the gulag. Basically, when you die, you'll be deported to this little underground warehouse where you have to fight another player to basically earn your second chance at life. And it's a really unique way of going about giving you a second chance. But outside of that, not much else to say.
Quite naughty.
I really don't know why I was hyping this game up. It's 3 JackBox games that are 18 plus in theme, and it's extremely boring. After playing it in a Discord VC, we realized pretty quickly, wait a minute, why do we need a game to be 18 plus when we already make 18 plus jokes out of the prompts from normal JackBox games? It's like making a joke in your classroom that wasn't intended based on the situation given, but then the teacher tries to join in and suddenly it's not that funny anymore. That's about the best way I can describe it. I've wanted to try this game out for years and was finally able to. It's basically a sports simulator where you can use various vehicles and compete in races to see who is the very best. You also have this massive overworld to explore, which is extremely fun to navigate, and I found myself traversing this map while listening to a chill Spotify playlist, and I just achieved this zen-like state where I'm just doing tricks on my bike, but also somehow reaching my inner peace. Whatever that means. TLDR, game is good.
Hold on, Froggy, I'm coming!
Still working through this game. Sorry guys, but as you can see by the length of this video, I got a lot accomplished, so some games had to take an L this year, unfortunately. Anyways, while I am not far into it, this game in my opinion is just kind of okay. I don't know, I find the cutscenes funny due to how extremely dated they are, but outside of that, nothing else is really grabbing me here. I know my opinions on Sonic are never really what people want to hear, but what do you want me to say about this game? Though the playable character roster here is pretty cool, I'll give it that.
I'm invincible, and you can't touch me.
While the game isn't finished, nor is it an official game, I wanted to give it an exception because oh my god, this game is breathtaking. It somehow combines the very best with the RPG series with the traditional 2D platforming of Mario games, and combining the two gives you something similar to Super Paper Mario, but dare I say better than Super Paper Mario. I love this game, and I want to see this game get completed so I can play the full thing, because from what little I played, I really enjoyed my time, and I love moving around as Mario, and I want more of it.
Penguins!
A co-op experience where you play as two penguins trying to reach the top of the mountain. Wait a minute. Played it with my friend Joker is okay, and we had fun with it, but we realized pretty quickly, despite our attempts at being coordinated and being in sync, there was just some kind of delay. We were playing on Switch admittedly, but even then, it got really infuriating to do basic platforming, and it got to the point where we had to throw in the towel. Sorry, Brett and Fred.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it.
I tried another Hoyoverse game this year, and it was alright. I really love the gameplay of it though, as it reminds me of hack and slash Warriors gameplay, and the things you could pull off in this game, and the parry mechanic you could perform, ooh. However, when I'm not in these dungeons fighting these monsters, I remember pretty quickly that this is a Hoyoverse game, and there is a bunch of text. On top of the story not grabbing me right away, and yeah, I feel a bit about it. I'll try to give it another shot soon, but I'm not feeling hopeful. Bernice is pretty funny though.
It's not that kind of duty.
I did play Call of Duty Black Ops 1 for the first time not that long ago, but outside of that, I've only really been invested in 2 COD games. But when I saw they were bringing back one of my favorite characters from the series, Frank Woods, into the game, I got a little giddy. I finally got around to playing the game, and what do I think? It's pretty good. It's not revolutionary or anything, but for a COD game that usually has very uninspired gameplay with rarely anything new to stand out from each entry, this one does a really good job of just being a good shooter game. I don't know. Let's talk about the 3 modes real quick, starting with the campaign. As mentioned before, I was really excited to play this because Woods was going to be in the story, but after beating it, it's just alright. I really love the little home base you get, and I love the various set pieces and ideas the game has to offer, and especially the mission Emergence. Oh my god, what a level. It's practically a horror game with how many cool ideas and concept it brings to the table in this one mission alone. But that's kind of where the positives end, because I really don't think the plot grabbed me, and it doesn't help that the ending of it is very anticlimactic. And it ends so abruptly after it was just about to get good. But what about the multiplayer? Surely that's good, and yeah, it is. I don't have much to say here though. You played a COD multiplayer, you're getting more of that here. But we do have the addition of Omni Movement in the game, which lets you sprint in any direction you desire. It's a little change, but it's a really cool addition, and that's all I really have to say in regards to the multiplayer. It is really fun though, rest assured, just not much to say. And finally, the zombies. Playing zombies was interesting because I realized something pretty quickly that was very different to the zombies I'm used to. You cannot put wood planks on the walls. This was incredibly jarring at first until I realized the reason for that is because not only are the zombies not as strong as they used to be, but they are more aggressive in that they run a lot faster than before and can overwhelm you to insane degrees that I have never experienced in a zombies game before up until this point. It's very different, but it helps make zombies not as boring and really fun and fast paced. Overall, the whole package of COD 6, I'd say it's pretty good. Do wait for a price drop though, because $70 is a lot. Sheesh.
What's good, YouTube?
Hi, my name's Joker, and I'm a pretty good friend of Cyanide's, at least that's what I would like to say. But yeah, I'm an artist, I just make art about stuff I'm passionate about, but otherwise I just kinda chill around. Also, thank you Cyanides for letting me be part of this fun little video. I know this is your thing, and it feels like I'm party crashing, but you know, I'm here for it, I guess. I will say that the zombies in this game is super fun. I played a lot of zombies in Cold War, which this game takes a lot from and expands upon it. We still have our field upgrades, wonder weapons, and Dark Aether storyline that we are continuing on from Cold War, which might be a little confusing if you haven't played any Cold War zombies. I know I've had a lot of friends who've kind of just hopped in and they don't know what's going on with the story, which is fine. It's still fine because the game's fun. Which is why I do think directed mode is a good addition for those who've never played zombies before. It basically just breaks down the Easter egg into very simple steps for those who don't really know what is going on. The Easter eggs are really fun and the camos are really awesome this time around. We have like some very pretty camos. The Nebula camo, absolutely gorgeous. Also, I hate those manglers and vermin a whole lot. They're just annoying. Also, I love Raptor 1.
Shadow, it's me, the devil.
Oh boy, I'm about to piss off some Sonic fans. Here I go. I did not like this game. It wasn't for me. I can see why people like this game, but I don't get it. I'm not a Sonic fan. I'm sorry. But Shadow Generations, on the other hand, oh my god. This game is like Bowser's Fury, but not as fun. Not that that's a bad thing though. It's still really fun, and playing as Shadow feels so fluid and fun on top of the various Doom powers he gets later on in the game. It feels like they took everything I hated about playing as Sonic and made it 10 times better here. And not only that, the levels in this game don't make me want to pull my hair out, and they are well designed. I cannot believe it. There's a Sonic game out there I actually enjoyed. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Good job, Sega. You finally did it. Outside of some really horrible pacing issues, frame drops, and a decent to average soundtrack, it's Mario and Luigi like it never left us, and I'm so happy to have them back. I didn't think I missed them that much until I played Sea of Stars, and well, you heard what I had to say about Sea of Stars already. Despite me feeling mixed about the game as a whole, I feel like no matter what, I will always love playing it, because the combat in Mario and Luigi games is always so fun and addicting that I cannot give it too much crap for that. Though the lack of a boss gauntlet is really annoying. Come on, Nintendo, just give us an update with a boss gauntlet, please!
Ghosts!
This game is like Lethal Company, but instead of running around getting scrap, you run around with all this machinery and try to figure out what kind of ghost is haunting the place, and I wasn't a fan. I don't know what it was, but it was just kind of boring. Maybe I need to give it another shot, but I don't know. I wasn't impressed. And no, I wasn't scared or anything. Huh!
I'll call the cops.
This game is roulette, but with guns. Wait a minute. You play as animals, and you play a card game. And I forgot what said card game is called. But you can't call your opponents out on their BS, and if they are lying, they will have to shoot themselves with the chance of the bullet in the chamber being a live or a blank. And if you call them out and they weren't lying, you'll have to shoot yourself instead. It's a very dumb game, but definitely really fun with friends, where many funny interactions can come out of it, so that's neat.
Bear another day without you in it. All of the joy that I had from my life.
While I am not that good at it, I really enjoyed this game. It features a wide variety of characters in a traditional fighting game, from Persona to Under Knife and Birth to RWBY. Needless to say, I was super excited to play this game when I saw they were in the roster, though I'll save that for later in this video. Again, I'm not the best at these types of games, but it's fun seeing these various characters I'm familiar with and interacting and duking it out in this game.
What is the prize? 2 stars. Who's giving away?
Wasn't gonna play this game initially, but I struck a deal with a friend and got this game at a fairly decent price, so who am I to complain? But how is the game? It's Mario Party, alright. Though I don't have much to share about this game, I will say the roster is massive compared to Superstars, which is very appreciated. Now I can finally play as the GOAT, Fishy Boopkins. I sound like a broken record, but good god, I suck at fighting games. I think it's really cool I can finally play these games legally and on my Switch as well, but you realize pretty quickly the people who want to play against you in this game are really good at the game. So you go into this game being super excited to play your favorite character, only for the sad reality to hit in that you will never be able to beat your best friend's Megamind because you simply did not grow up with this game. Yeah, I am talking about you, Mystic Aiden, you piece of sh**.
Third-degree burns over 90% of his body.
As mentioned at the beginning of the video through the editor's note, Marvel Rivals and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 are both off script and are both very last second. But you know what? It's the holidays, so I want to talk about them. So here we are. So I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals. I actually have 50 hours on my Steam. And the game is actually really fun. I've never played Overwatch before in my life, but I'm having so much fun. I didn't think a concept like Overwatch x Marvel characters would work so well, but here we are. And the game's already in so many frequent updates. Hell, it already has 20 million concurrent players, which is insane. I wish I could tell you guys like what characters I'd be maining, but I still don't really have a clue yet. I've been getting really good with Penny Parker and Black Panther lately, but again, that could change. That's been changing like every single day. And as of me recording this, there's a Jeff the Landshark event going on right now where you basically play like Splatoon, but with Jeff's Hawk Tua. It's stupid, I know. Yeah, Marvel Rivals. I'm kind of like more interested to see what the future looks like for this game because it's definitely one of those ongoing games. But you know what? If the leaks are anything to go off of, this game looks amazing and I cannot wait to play more of it. 10 out of 10 game. It is so addicting.
John Wick, I'm efficient and lean, a proficient professional killing machine.
I've always wanted to get around to watching this series, and I finally did, and oh my god, is it amazing. I never thought a whole subgenre of action could come out of the action genre, but here we are with it in the form of Gun Fu, and seeing Keanu Reeves terrorize hundreds of guys in his path is oh so satisfying to watch. And oh my god, the main theme composed for this movie goes so incredibly hard. We avenging our dog with this beat. As the name implies, you're gonna get a lot of boomer jokes, but to be honest, I ended up really enjoying it. It wasn't so much about the boomer jokes, but more so making fun of the new generation. Our generation. Honestly, fair enough though. The movie is mainly making fun of people on Twitter.com who get offended super easily, and honestly, I'm here for it. It was genuinely kind of funny. And by the end, the old dad realizes that not all the new stuff is bad and useless, and even uses some of it to make it to the hospital in time to see the birth of his daughter. You heard it here, folks. Skibbity Toilet saved the day. Brain rot is the future.
The sad broken dad joke and Popo is no folk.
Just when Mr. Wick finally finds peace after avenging his dog, a man comes out of nowhere asking Mr. Wick for help with an assassination job and that he owes him on this one. John Wick wants no part of it though, however, and well, Jesus Christ! Yeah, John Wick is never getting out of this life. Outside of this insane push to get him back to killing more, the movie is just more John Wick with even more creative combat scenes and probably one of the funniest shopping montage prep scenes I have ever seen in a hot minute. All of it leading to the very end where he gets sentenced to excommunicado, and oh my god, that scene is intense, nothing like it. It really sucks though. I want to give this movie more praise, but most of the praise I want to give it is for the insane setup it gives towards John Wick 3. Though this movie is still great though.
Shoot them with a dehydration gun!
Nope, not talking about this one. La la la, I'm using my skip card. I'm using my dehydration gun on this piece of shit. Be gone, you filth! Please do not watch this!
All hail the blue one? What? Now these people think I can save them. I can barely work this suit.
I watched this movie in a Discord VC and I genuinely don't remember watching it. Though, that being said, I definitely don't remember anything bad about it, and it gets pretty intense at some points. But overall, I just kind of watched it and moved on with my life. Because I wanted to watch John Wick 3 instead.
Only one of us to go 3 chapters without sucking.
Holy fuck! Sorry, excuse my language, but if you want to point at any movie that does the whole one man versus the world, I'd point at this movie. It picks up right where the last one left off, and John Wick is on the goddamn run. And he barely recovered from any of the injuries he sustained from the last movie, and he's still pulling off crazy stunts in this movie. Hell, even the pencil scene being a reference to when the Russian mob boss was describing him to his son shows up here, and it's great. Highly recommend this film. Might be my favorite in the entire series.
I live on Salem Lane in Aberdale, Arizona. My name is Jeff Randall.
Impressive. Very nice. Let's see Stripe the Squid's media video. Look at that subtle penguin. The tasteful has-been hotel. Oh my god. It even has Uzumaki. Seeing Patrick Bateman live an ordinary life to eventually becoming an American Psycho was so well executed, and it's one of those films you need to watch multiple times to not only see how deranged he gets, as well as the subtle nods towards it, but also the fact that by the end, you realize that everything that happened in the film all amounted to nothing. And Patrick Bateman's reaction to this information is priceless. Great movie that everyone needs to check out.
Your elemental power is green.
I grew up on Ninjago as a kid, and when I saw that they were going to do a reboot of the show in a movie form, well, I wasn't a fan of how it looked. I put it off for a long time due to the reboot style just turning me away, but I decided to lock in and give it a shot, and it was okay. I think it was better watching this film as its own thing rather than watching it as a Ninjago movie, because not remembering the Ninjago lore allowed me to enjoy this film for what it is. The green that it is. I don't know, that's the only joke I remember from the movie.
I'll put you two in tune. Call it cryptocurrency.
The movie decides to finally give John Wick time to heal from his wounds from the past 3 movies by giving him a bit of a time skip. Though, don't go for a second thinking the action won't be just as insane as the previous 3 movies. Not even just Wick, but the 2 side characters that go head to head with him are really well written, really well implemented into the story, despite only being introduced in this 4th film, and both have really unique ways of fighting via the use of dog and blindness, respectively. It's more John Wick, and a great conclusion to the entire series. Oh, now I have to watch the Continental series now that I finished John Wick now, huh?
I skadoosed your uncle!
Why? Just, why did we need this movie? I mean, I'm pretty much going to repeat exactly what I'm saying here for the Despicable Me 4 section, but genuinely, why did we need this movie?
The third movie was a perfect conclusion to Poe's arc, and it really didn't need this fourth one to have Poe being forced to retire and give up the mantle of the Dragon Warrior when he literally became the Dragon Warrior in the last movie. Not only that, but the villain in this movie is so poorly executed that I swear to God, the people who directed this film did not watch the previous films at all. What do you mean the people stopped you from learning Kung Fu? Mantis is right there! Either way, this movie was not needed at all, and I can say with complete certainty that it added nothing of value. Okay, the Tai Lung scenes were pretty nice, I'll give it that. A perfect sequel. Perfection. Give me more. You know, making a movie based on the teenage years of a character should have been a recipe for disaster. And yet somehow it's not, and in some ways this film is better than the original. Anxiety was an amazing antagonist in so many ways, and seeing the scenes of Riley being pushed by Anxiety was so incredibly hard to watch, but also really relatable. It is a little upsetting the other new emotions don't get to be used as much, but I kind of don't mind it. Anxiety is the star of the show here, and I honestly don't mind it one bit. Outside of that though, it's a really good film. And I also really appreciate how it's one of those sequels that actually takes the lessons that was learned from the previous movie and applies them here instead of having the main character revert back to how they were at the beginning. I am referring to Joy and Sadness if it wasn't obvious. Why? Just why did we need this movie? I mean, I'm pretty much going to repeat exactly what I'm saying here for the Kung Fu Panda 4 section, but genuinely, why did we need this movie? Gru has a baby now. Cool. The minions become the Mega Minions. Cool. Lucy works at a hair salon. Cool. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't care about this movie. I don't care about the villain. I don't care about the hundreds of plot threads they were trying to combine with this one movie, and I don't care about this franchise anymore. But I will say the end scene was really cute in the prison where they are singing. It was a nice send-off of the series. Please let this be a send-off.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
Deadpool and Wolverine are coming soon, and despite them saying you could watch this movie without any prior knowledge on the X-Men films, god damn it, I was gonna do it anyway. So the original X-Men. Wow, does it show its age. A lot of weird CGI bits and weird one-liners.
The same thing that happens to everything else.
And overall, I really don't have much of an opinion on this film. But hey, it laid the groundwork for the other films, so surely it only gets better from here.
What time should I book the Kill the President simulator?
Okay, outside of the weird name, this film actually is a way better improvement. We get a lot more focus on key characters like Logan and Jean, and I feel it's a lot more cohesive and enjoyable here. Also, the villain William Stryker was really funny and intimidating, and oh my god, what did you do to your son? Jesus Christ! But yeah, way better film than the first one.
You should be in prison. Sure. Put the master of magnetism in prison. Great idea, Scott.
As the name implies, this is the last stand. The X-Men versus the Brotherhood. Oh my god, this is going to be the battle of the ages. Wait, what is that? Is that a goddamn bridge? I refuse to believe Magneto was willing to team up with the X-Men in the last film if he could do something like this the entire time. Bro could solo his whole verse and you cannot tell me otherwise, good god. Other than that though, I don't remember much from this film, and I think the later films are a lot better in my opinion, but we'll get to that in a few. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch! Sorry, I just wanted to say that real quick.
Your worst nightmare ain't you, Jack, shit compared to the least of my Weapon X flashback.
Yep, this is definitely an Origins film, alright, but like in the most expected way possible, if that makes sense. On one hand, it does highlight and show all the little things that the X-Men films up until this point have alluded to, but then we get to scenes like Wolverine fighting Deadpool, and I suddenly lose all my immersion. Oh yeah, that's Deadpool, by the way. I'm sorry that you all had to see this, but that is in fact Deadpool. I think what really did it for me in this film was seeing how Logan loses his memory, and it's by an adamantium bullet, which, yeah, makes sense. But instead of being unconscious or anything after being shot, he gets up like 5 minutes later and just forgets everything. Like, Jesus Christ, there's no way you can get amnesia that fast, right?
That's it? That's all you gotta say? What? Just brushing off someone implanting the entire experience of a Holocaust survivor in your brain?
What a very unique film this was indeed. I actually really enjoyed this film. We get sent back to the past, where Charles Xavier and Magneto, or Eric, are a lot younger and don't have beef with each other, and we see how they form the X-Men, and it's really cool. Not much else to say about it, but I really enjoyed getting this perspective as well as seeing some of the other new characters, like Satan! These X-Men films are weird, man. Why are these Wolverine films so hit or miss, man? I feel like it's a really good Wolverine movie on its own, but with the movies prior to this, I have to wonder, why did we need Wolverine to go to Japan and fight robots, samurais, and ninjas? I don't know, but at least the action's really good, and that's all I really gotta say about it.
You know, that wasn't real.
The vision or the Holocaust?
You know.
This might be the best film from the whole series in my opinion. In the distant future, these Sentinels were created to hunt not only mutants, but humans as well, and so they have to send Wolverine back to the past to make Charles and Eric become besties to show the world that mutants aren't that bad, and to prevent the creation of Sentinels. Despite this film using time travel and how dangerous of a slope that could be in regards to storytelling, the film does a surprisingly good job of using it, and it even uses the actors from X-Men The First Class, so that's neat. Though I will say it's funny thinking about the implications of the outcome of this film, because technically, everything that happened prior to this movie basically got completely invalidated thanks to the past being erased completely. Basically, you have no reason to watch any of these films, and I think that's extremely funny. I've heard hundreds of good things about this movie, but wow, finally being able to see it myself was something else. You see old man Logan trying to take care of everyone and everything around him, and you realize thanks to his healing factor, he has outlived almost everyone he has ever loved. Eventually, he meets with a little mutant girl who has similar powers as him. Thanks to Charles telepathically speaking to her, you realize she's trying to get to this special place where mutants can be at peace from the rest of the world. Logan helps her on this journey, mainly because Charles wishes for it, but as their journey continues, Logan loses more and more the things he holds dear, and is even slowly losing the ability to heal. Towards the end of the movie, he's barely able to muster any strength to go forwards to the point where the little girl has to help him out. He then gets offered a choice once they reach their destination: leave and live alone with nothing left to show for it, or fight and protect the next generation of mutants with the last of his strength. And, well, I think we all know what he picked. It's a really good film about learning to let go and giving others the opportunity to live the life they've always wanted to, and yeah, it's a tearjerker.
Deadpool's ballsack.
So take everything I just said about Logan and throw it out of the window, because holy fuck, this movie is a roller coaster. There are only a few things I wish I could erase my memory on and re-experience in this world. E3 2018, the Fortnite Black Hole event, and now Deadpool and Wolverine. Watching this in the theater opening day was a magical experience like no other, and that intro sequence, dear god. You want to know what kind of character Deadpool is? Watch this scene and it tells you everything you need to know, and I was laughing my ass off the whole way through. I cannot believe this movie was made and it's real, but Ryan Reynolds made it happen, and we are so back. Marvel Jesus is here. It's definitely not for everyone though, and if you take 2 seconds to think about it, it starts to fall apart. But I think it's more fun if you turn your brain off to watch this film in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I get it if it's not everyone's cup of tea. But in my opinion, this was the greatest thing I've ever watched in 2024. Oh my god. It's your typical action thriller featuring celebrities, and I thought it was neat. You got J.K. Simmons and Mark Wahlberg, so yeah, you know it's gonna be alright. Though admittedly, I watched this in New York when I really didn't have anything to watch in my hotel room, so my dad and I just picked something we knew we would enjoy without thinking too much about it, and yeah, I didn't think too much about it. Though I do want to ask, how the hell did this guy survive at the beginning of the movie when he got shot into the river? That makes no sense to me, I'm sorry.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go!
We found this random video on the internet of a woman singing one of the wackiest singles I've ever heard in my life. So color me surprised when in a Discord call, my friend and I discovered that this was a whole marketing ploy for a whole movie. And so we watched it, and I could not tell you anything that happened. It genuinely went one ear out the other. Honestly, I'm still just in awe by the fact this movie exists, and that this is a genuine real thing that you could watch and buy in 2024.
Okay, so I was the one that told Cyanize about that video, and he absolutely loved that video. I'm just kidding. He didn't know what to think of it. So we were just chilling and we found out there was a movie. I forced him to watch it with me the next day, and let me tell you, this is the greatest piece of fiction of all time. Honestly, no, it's not. I don't remember what happened at all in it. Like, I'm trying to think about it right now, and I just can't think of anything that happened. The most that I remember was that she was singing her song in the video multiple times. There was this Chow guy that she was trying to fight, and his theme song is a lot better than her actual song, which is really funny. But other than that, it was just like a really goofy YouTube movie. I don't know if any of you have seen videos from like Chad Wildclay or people who make videos like that. It's basically that, but an entire video. It's really fun to watch. At times it was boring, but literally it's just the sheer stupidity of it. Would I watch it again? 100%. I absolutely would. Nah, but I feel like you could just not watch this and just watch her music video, and you would get the entire context of the movie just from that.
hairy baby.
This is WALL-E in 2024, and I'm here for it! Though it does do other things that WALL-E doesn't. We see our robot friend here get belittled for the entire movie, only for all the animals of the forest to eventually side with her and accept her as one of their own. And that goes for Brightbill too. It's kind of crazy how both the robot who is foreign to the entire island and Brightbill, who isn't foreign to the island at all, but is still ostracized due to the fact that he associates with her, and both having to be outcasts in the film. It also sometimes gets really hard to watch, considering how much especially Roz ends up doing for the whole forest folk. But that makes it oh so satisfying when the forest people finally learn to accept it too. Also, on top of the beautiful animation, oh my god, it's a great movie.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City.
A biotopic on Pharrell Williams using Legos? I don't have much to say on the film itself since it is a biotopic. I mean, who am I to give my opinion on someone else's story? But I did laugh my ass off when they were talking to Snoop Dogg in the scene where they were getting high, and then they busted out the PG spray because obviously it's a Lego film. They can't be busting out the weed. I thought that was just a genius way of going about it. But I wanted to also highlight the creative use of Legos. They actually do utilize the medium that they're in by having the Legos get colorful and reactive whenever Pharrell creates music. I think that's just really cool and visually pleasing.
Give me the milk! Caliente!
I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I love the bromance between Eddie and Venom, and I love the second film, and I feel like I should have liked this one, but it just doesn't even try. It does have some great set pieces, but in my opinion, it just feels like they only made this movie to end the trilogy, rather than giving a fitting conclusion to the bromance, because I just feel so unfulfilled. The marketing was promising a wacky, crazy adventure between the two, and what we got here was... I don't even really know. I feel this is further backed up by the ending where, spoilers, Venom gives his life to protect Eddie, and then they have a scene of Eddie walking through New York, reminiscing about Venom, while Maroon 5 is playing, and to be honest, it was really hard to take seriously. Seeing the camera pan towards Tom Hardy's face, only for him to say, "I'll never forget you, buddy," had me laughing at how unironically comedic it is of him just staring off into space saying this. I just wish they gave this a bit more justice and finality to these two, instead of whatever we got with these two. Also, I'm sorry for you Null fans out there who were expecting more out of him in this film, because that's just not what we got here.
Oh my god, Slay Queen, I love your boots. Where did you get them?
I wanted to watch this movie to see if it was worth buying his cosmetics in Fortnite, and let me tell you, it's not. This movie is riddled with every horror cliche in the book, and let me tell you, it was not fun yelling at the protagonist to run away from the room multiple times. Yeah, I get it, this is where all the cliches originated from, but it still doesn't make them any less annoying. Also, Michael just isn't as cool as Jason Voorhees. I'm sorry.
This is a symbol of what I think of the Employee of the Month Award!
This is an Adam Sandler movie in disguise. Do not let these actors fool you. You have the idiotic protagonist that somehow has lasted this far in life doing this. You have the rival character who you love to hate. And you have the attractive female lead, who in this movie in particular, apparently sleeps with Employee of the Month employees? Just talking about this film makes me want to puke. I'm gonna be real. I only watched this movie because Netflix was down and I couldn't watch more Suits, and man, what a mistake this was to watch this as a substitute.
I have dyslexia! You're about to get nay-nay!
Jack Black as the devil is something I didn't know I wanted to see, but I'm gladly surprised to have it now. Not much to share about it, however. It's a cute little Christmas film that features Satan. Wait a minute, what is the poster in that kid's room? Oh my god, wait, is that Mipha from The Legend of Zelda? Mipha from The Legend of Zelda practices Satanism? What the f-
Don't you want to stop him? No, I want to kiss you on the mouth!
Transformer fans are dedicated, and I couldn't help but join in. So I finally gave in and watched the film, and I really enjoyed it. Seeing Megatron's transition from being a good friend to straight murder was surprisingly really well executed, and I'm shocked that they did that in an hour 30-minute runtime. Not much else to say that I liked about the film, other than it's a pretty dang good film.
We live in a society.
This movie is all over the place. I decided to watch this movie for the simple fact that I just love Andrew Garfield as an actor, and despite that, I feel that we barely got to see him though. It's more so about his wife in the film having cancer, and the various things she does to cope with it and make the most of it. And yeah, that's fine, I think it's a perfectly good setup, but I think the problem with this movie is that it's just all over the place with various flashbacks and time skips and whatnot. But overall, not a bad watch. I would have loved to see more Andrew Garfield though. Come on, we were robbed.
Hey, Shadow, why do you want to go to Mexico so bad?
I just love Latinas, Sonic.
What?
Adios, amigo.
This movie is the sole reason that I'm going back and adding not only Rivals, but also this movie to the script. I cannot stress enough that originally I was not even gonna bother. Like I was gonna be like, hey, you'll have to wait till next year to hear my thoughts about it. But I actually, okay, so I'll just be real. I'm recording this literally right after I saw the movie, and I'm giving my thoughts right now, and I'm 30 seconds in, and I still haven't given my thoughts. But so, okay, Sonic the Movie 3, how is it? Oh my god, it's amazing. I cannot stress enough, I do not like Sonic that much. I think I've made that clear on this channel. I just don't like playing the games that much, and I just don't think they appeal to me. But this movie... holy crap. Oh my god, it's so crazy too, because it's like they take everything that's been established in the previous two movies, I mean, as a sequel should, and they take all of that, even like the negative stuff. They take some of the negative stuff and they used it all in such comedic and amazing and thoughtful ways. Like, it's not just a ripoff of SA2. It's a Sonic movie. It's an original Sonic movie that's also using the medium that it's in and using the concepts and characters that it's established. Even like I guess it's a little mild spoiler. It's about the human characters, so I don't think anybody would care. But they used the fucking the people from the wedding scene in Sonic movie 2, but they used them in such a funny way where I was kind of happy to see them back. So it was super cool. But then Sonic and Shadow themselves, oh my god. I was at a Dolby theater, so I could like hear everything that was happening. Like, you could feel the impact, you know, and let's just say the last 30 minutes of the movie, you're kind of, I was, like, genuinely a little scared watching the movie, because, like, you could just feel the weight of, like, the fight, and, like, it's insane. But I won't get into details. Go watch it if you haven't. Go do yourself a favor. Go get your family to watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3 this Christmas, because you might as well. Also, please stay for the post-credit scene, because I might have screamed really loudly in my theater, seeing who showed up at the end credit scene. But I won't delve into it any further. But I do have a Discord and Twitter, and you can hit me up if you want to talk about the movie. Please, I want to talk about it. But nobody has seen the movie. Okay, unrelated, but if you guys are going to go watch the movie after watching this, please remember this specific frame that you're seeing on screen from the trailer. It's really important. You'll see why. Alright, I'm moving on.
You know who else is the honored one? Imaginary technique. Purple.
Alright, I finally gave in and went to watch the popular big anime, and I personally don't get the hype. Don't get me wrong, I definitely get it, and I love Gojo and the bromance between Yuji and Toto, but outside of that, this show just did not grab me that much. I also just did not really understand the world and how it works and functions with curses and whatnot, and yeah, sorry JJK fans, it's just not for me. Though Gojo is hilarious, who doesn't like the guy?
Who is a detective who lives in Anaba? Adachi?
After playing the game last year, I wanted to see how the anime adaptation would hold up, and it's surprisingly really good, and well adapted for a 100-hour RPG. It even adds various elements that the game didn't have time to tackle, which is seriously appreciated. Not much else to say here, but definitely a good watch though if you need something to watch in a day and don't want to play the whole 100-hour game.
Call me Elf one more time.
Frieren is an elf mage who can outlive pretty much everyone around her, and the show basically tries to explore that and tries to find the meaning in her life despite everyone around her leaving her. Because of this, she wants to embark on a journey to meet up again with her old colleague Himmel the Hero. Along this journey, she takes an apprentice in the form of Fern, as well as one of her other colleagues' apprentices in the form of Stark. Together, this ragtag team of misfits travel the world and try to help out any of the people they encounter along the way. And it's really nice and wholesome, and Frieren herself is hilarious despite being one of the most broken characters in her whole verse.
Sosuke Bosuke, you pervert! Ow, what the fuck?
I never thought I'd find something that could rival Love is War, but I think I did. Though this is less so comedic and more romance focused than Love is War, but damn is it a good romance. I mean, it's so good, both our leads have their names in the title of the show in the form of Hori and Miyamura, respectively. Everything about this show is really well done, but if I had one gripe about it, it's that outside of the leads, every character has a different hair color with matching eye colors as well. And once I noticed that, I just couldn't see it, and it genuinely bothered me. I nitpick, yes, but I just thought it was funny. Also, on an unrelated note, if anyone's interested in watching the show, I highly recommend you check the link in the description on the Horimiya section, as I have left a Reddit link to a supercut in. The reason being is because the show is actually split up into two series, and the two series are very out of order and scrambled, and watching them the way it is might not be enjoyable to most audiences. And so Reddit saved the day, and made a supercut that put all the pieces together to make the ultimate watching experience. So definitely go check that out if you're interested.
Ew, people. What do I do? They're looking at. I'm not doing shit.
I feel like I don't need to explain what this is. You have already seen the Bochi memes. You already know that her and Courage, the Cowardly Dog, would make great friends, and you know that Bochi herself is an introvert to a fault, and we love her for that, and we support her in wanting to form a band and hope she becomes the very best. And oh my god, where's season 2 of this show already? Also, Rio is the best. I need more of her, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Did you bump your head?
In my opinion, after how lackluster season 3 was, I feel it could only go up from here, and I think it did. We kept our expectations low considering it literally is the training arc, and seeing Tanjiro being put through the ringer, and it's surprisingly pretty well done. And we get to see Inosuke and Zenitsu come back, so that's pretty dang cool. And the ending to the whole thing, oh my god, seeing Muzan walking on the Demon Slayer core, that whole scene was so intense. Oh my god, words cannot describe how I felt watching it. Such an incredible setup for the next arc, and I have to admit, I'm really excited to see what they do next for the Infinity Castle arc.
What are you doing with that buck on your hood?
What? It ain't my fault he ran right in front of my truck.
This is a comedy show that is hyper-focused on deer. For some reason. However, its comedy is something I'm just not really a fan of at all. It does the whole random equals funny bits, and I feel that just doesn't work for me at all here. I tried to give it a chance, I really did, but it just did not grab me. Happy for deer fans though.
Yo, it's me, Stripe the Squid, the editor of this video. Cyan doesn't know I'm doing this, but his take on Nokotan is freaking stupid, so I'm here. This very clearly isn't a random equals funny series. Instead, the jokes come partially from Nokotan being weird, yes, mostly from Toriko being the only normal person reacting to the weirdness of the situation. Nokotan is basically a physical god, so she's capable of just breaking reality. That's the whole premise. It's like brushing off Looney Tunes for just being random equals funny. Science, a stupid, dumb, idiot, pants, moron, doofus, dummy, loser, dummy, idiot. Okay, back to the actual video.
A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen.
I'll get to it when I get to the RWBY section, but TLDR, Ice Queendom takes Volume 1 and puts it all into anime form, and rushes through it as fast as possible so we can get to Weiss being infected by this dream grim thing. And then seeing the RWBY cast going into her dream to get her out of it. Okay. I'm sorry, but what is the point of this show? It's like whoever's directing this was a huge fan of Weiss and wanted a whole show about her, and well, I guess it's good if you're a fan of her? I don't know, it's my friend's favorite character, and she said she wasn't a fan of it, so I guess that tells you all you need to know, huh?
Oh boy, Ice Queendom. What a great show. It's true though, I really love Weiss. If you look at my self-representation OC, it tells you everything you need to know. I really liked the first couple episodes. I think the first episode did a lot to expand on how RWBY got into Beacon, which is something I really appreciated. We see some of the key moments, such as Team RWBY's first fight together, and we even see the food fight at the end of the season, but that's really it. Their first encounter with the White Fang is rushed extremely, and that's when the cracks really start showing. The new story with Nightmare Weiss really dragged out to the point where it's a chore to get through. I really liked the idea of Evil Weiss, but I felt like they were stuck in a box for what they could do with her. To me, it just felt like they took the idea of Evil Weiss and only stuck to one thing and one thing only, instead of really fleshing her out. Very disappointing and boring overall.
You getting upstage, Bill? Yo, you just got played!
Oshi No Ko is back, baby, and Akane is still best girl. Sorry, I just needed to get that off my chest. So this time around, we're focusing on the stage play of Tokyo Blade, and all the things that go into it, as well as creating manga and adapting it, which I thought was really interesting and fun. Though I will say there was a surprisingly massive lack of RWBY until the last few episodes, which I thought was interesting. Though I do prefer Aqua's story and the characters a bit more, so I don't entirely mind, but for RWBY fans, I can imagine this being a turnoff for some. Unrelated though, is that a fucking Piplup plushie?
To answer that, we need to talk about parallel universes.
I was really enjoying some of the ideas and the what-if scenarios we got here, like the Hella episode where she meets the dad from Shang-Chi, or the Happy Whole Christmas special. But towards the end, they start to lose sight of the vision and bring Captain Carter back to fight the evil Doctor Strange again. And yeah, I'm not a fan. I wish it was just more dumb what-if scenarios instead of them trying to create a whole ongoing narrative that ultimately ends up with a mediocre conclusion. But that is my personal opinion. Though we did get a trailer for Season 3, and it seems they still want to keep going with this saga, so I guess I'll just have to endure it and hope the what-if scenarios are funny. I wasn't really on board with this idea until I saw clips on Twitter, and it looked extremely funny and entertaining, and I gave it a watch, and oh my god, it's peak. I'm usually a fan of Family Guy, so that was expected, but I didn't think I'd want to see a show that goes into the backstory of Ted and John. But here we are, and I'm all for it. I think I died laughing when Ted and John were doing drugs for this first time and then seeing them walk down the stairs to Lowrider. God, there's just nothing like it.
You can tell Seth MacFarlane was having a good time writing this show.
Merry Christmas.
Invincible Season 2 focuses on the aftermath of Omni-Man's rampage throughout Earth, and it's a lot to take in. You forget how much of a big deal this was until you realize everyone in the world was affected by this, and every character in the show all has their own opinion about it. And it's genuinely interesting to watch how they all cope with that fact. And especially Mark, who has to figure out what kind of hero he wants to be despite his dad being the way he is. Also unrelated, but Alan is awesome. I love Alan. Probably my favorite Seth Rogen character, not gonna lie. The Flames of Disaster! Sorry, I needed to get that out of my system. So, what's the point of this show? I do think it's ironically hilarious, but despite that, it really doesn't add much for Knuckles' character at all. And I really don't care much about his family either. Look, it's no secret that people don't watch these things for the human characters, we watch them for the hedgehog. And while Knuckles himself is fun here, and even Wade as well, the rest of the cast I just could not get myself to care for, at all.
Boy.
Another subversion of the superhero genre, in a way you have never seen before. You got corrupt heroes at Vought Incorporated, and then we got the boys. You got your boy Huey and Butcher and Frenchie, and God, I love these guys. They're all so stupid, but I love them so much. And just by the introduction of Huey in the A-Train scene alone sets the vibe completely on what kind of show you're getting into with this. But man, is it gory at times. Like, really gory. So be prepared for that. You might vomit if you're sensitive to this kind of stuff.
I was hoping you'd be able to explain why you think we stand a goddamn chance in hell against Homelander.
After the insane ending that was in Season 1 with the reveal of Butcher's wife and bloody son are alive, this season picks up right after where that left off, and we see how Butcher handles this information, and he handles it surprisingly well for the most part. This was also the season we got the introduction of Stormfront, and she is insane. She matches Homelander's freak, and it does in fact get freaky. Another solid season of The Boys, though I can't wait to see what happens in Season 3.
Shit. That was a great line.
This season finally gives our main characters a fighting chance in the form of Soldier Boy. Not to be confused with the others. And Temporary Compound V, which basically gives our heroes a bit of superhero juice for a limited amount of time. And thanks to this, we get some insane fights between Homelander and the boys, and I love it. Not much to say, but overall, another really good season of The Boys.
Yummers.
Sadly, this is where the show starts to drop off for a variety of reasons. It just seemed to lose focus on who to really focus on, and a lot of side characters like Frenchie, who are fan favorites, end up doing some of the wackiest out-of-character things for no apparent reason at all. All that to say though, they somehow brought it all back at the end, and wow, seeing Homelander basically become the president of the United States was terrifying to say the least, and the setup for Season 5 couldn't be any higher. While I am a bit disappointed, I am very excited to see what they're going to do for Season 5.
You don't understand my mission!
It's time for RWBY, guys! Woo! Give it up for probably like 5 minutes of nothing but RWBY! Who is excited? So yeah, I started watching RWBY this year, and it's amazing. Yes, animation-wise, it's very whack, with all the NPCs being shadow people, and the animation in general just looking really low quality. But if you can look past that, there's a really fun show with really fun action to be shown here.
Another one.
To be honest, I really don't remember what happened in this arc, but we did get the introduction of Swy the Corgi, and oh my god, he's amazing. I mean, look at this insane combo attack, Jesus Christ! Animation-wise, they did fix the shadow NPCs, and they now have proper NPCs, but the animation style is still relatively the same for the most part.
Another one.
This is where things start getting intense. We have a little tournament, as these shows usually do, until suddenly all hell breaks loose, and we realize pretty quickly that there's been an imposter among us. Cinder. He takes over the entire venue and sends the entire area into chaos for the next few episodes, and we see what is now known as the fall of Beacon Academy. Many things were lost, and suddenly the show has some extreme stakes and some really heartbreaking moments, and yeah, it gets hard to watch at some points. And it would have gotten worse if not for RWBY at the very end activating her silver eyes, and the whole area goes to white with no explanation as to what happened. Also, on an unrelated note, can I just say Crow is my favorite character ever, and his introduction was both the funniest and coolest thing ever. Oh my god.
The first 3 volumes are very peak, and like Sinai said before, there's really cool fight scenes. They make the most out of their characters and the weapons. The story is set up really well, and we see the characters go through things that change them and cause them to grow. You can also see Weiss go from a really big bitch to just a bitch. Love you, girly!
Another one.
This season tackles the aftermath of what transpired last volume. Team RWBY is all separated, Team Juniper is doing their own thing with RWBY, and everyone is doing their own thing. This part is also where the show gets a new animation style, and it's honestly really pleasing to look at for the most part. Though that being said, it was around this point where we lost the main writer behind the show, Monty, and the show starts to take a turn towards a different direction. Whether that's a good thing or not, we'll see later, but for the most part, Season 4 is still pretty good.
Another one.
Mostly continuing off on Volume 4, the show tries to get Team RWBY back together as well as explore the relationship between Yang's mom, Raven, as well as reintroducing the concept of maidens that were introduced at the end of Volume 3. And we actually get to see the two maidens fight at the end of this volume. It's probably one of the best fight scenes in the season. Not much else to really add here, but it's really nice to see everyone reunited again and back on their feet after the tragedy that was Volume 3 and the fall of Beacon.
Personally, I feel like Volume 4 and 5 are when the show really starts to fall apart a little bit. You see Team RWBY get back together and you learn more about the story in Salem. Overall, the vibe really shifts from where the earlier volumes were and becomes a more serious show with little comedy sprinkled throughout. It kind of loses that charm RWBY began with.
Another one.
This volume is a bit of a journey over to Weiss's home, known as Atlas, and getting there reveals a lot of things and answers to a lot of questions we have had about the series up until this point, including the meaning behind Ruby's silver eyes and Ozpin and his backstory, as well as the main antagonist Salem and her motivations. I kind of wish this knowledge was given to us sooner and less in an exposition dump kind of way that we end up getting here, but regardless, this does help the world building a bit. The rest of the volume though, it's kind of just alright. I feel like it's the point where the show begins to fall off for various reasons. The pacing is really whack, and the characters in general just don't feel at all like the same characters I fell in love with originally, and the combat is mediocre at best, and the comedy just isn't there whatsoever. I genuinely think this is where it started to fall off, if I had to pick a point in the series runtime, but we'll see how the later seasons hold up.
Yeah, too much exposition in this volume alone. I really wish the silver eyes thing was addressed more in Volume 4, or even Volume 5. I don't like that we have to wait an entire 2 volumes before we learn what feels like a major plot point for RWBY's character. This is where the show really falls apart, in my opinion.
Another one.
We finally make it to Atlas, and Penny's alive? Oh man, she was a fan favorite of the early volumes, so having her here is really nice. But not all is nice and happy, as we get to see Ironwood again from Volume 3, and we realize he has tortured the entire lower class for the sake of protecting his people from Salem and the Grim, and to say his strategy of going about this is not the most ideal would be an understatement. But you know what, the show's starting to pick up here. Hopefully after this we can get back to good RWBY content, right?
Oh my god, I really hate those fucking Team Atlas bitches. We can see Ironwood start to go insane in this volume. I do want to speak on the outfits though. I really like Blake and Yang's a lot. It feels like it really fits them. RWBY's is okay. I don't like that they changed her hair a lot. It loosely fits her. Weiss though, I hate it. They take her amazing hair and stuff it in a braid. Also, her outfit does not look like it's fun to fight in. The worst part is we see this for the rest of the series that is out.
Another one.
Oh, I shouldn't have spoke so soon. The moment I saw Ironwood shoot a guy in the hospital should have been a red flag immediately. I don't even know where to begin, nor do I have the words to describe this volume. It's just all over the place, and not only that, it's just depressing. Like, people are dying left and right here, and it seems like nobody can be happy in this volume. Like, genuinely, this volume somehow takes the fall of Beacon and ups it by 5 times to make probably one of the most depressing volumes ever, to the point where I became so desensitized watching characters die from this show. There are other issues, of course, but that was definitely my main gripe from this show, as well as Ironwood just being a horrible military leader. Well, horrible in the sense that him and his squad can't seem to just sit down and talk things out for 2 seconds. Anyway, last volume to go. Let's see how it is.
These characters will never be happy. They will always be depressed. That's all I really have to say. They have all of this exposition though for the story, so I really hope they continue it in the next volume.
Another one.
I think I've said this multiple times in regards to other media in this video, but there are some amazing set pieces and character growth to be had here, but it's all mixed up with some really horrible pacing and interesting plot decisions. It also doesn't help that the last volume ended on such a major event, and then we get to this volume and it's more or less just a filler arc that has our characters in a whole different world. Again, love the character moments we get with Blake and Yang and RWBY's internal struggles, but overall, as a volume, this volume has to be the most unorganized and confusing one of the entire series.
Bruh, what happened to the story? Why are we in a book or something? At least they addressed RWBY's depression and stress, but they should have done that earlier on in the series because it feels out of place along with everything else in this volume. I don't really understand what happened, and this volume is complete garbage. But the gays kiss.
When I first met you, I thought you were weird and annoying. And you are.
Alright, finally, we made it! The good stuff! RWBY Chibi is basically a bunch of little shorts and gags featuring the RWBY cast, and it's all comedy. It starts out a little bit as random equals funny, but it does get better as it goes on with a lot more creative ideas and set pieces for jokes. It even breaks the fourth wall at times, and to be honest, I'm here for it. I do want to talk about the other seasons, but sadly I could not get to them on time, so I'll have to save those for next year, but mark my words. There will be more RWBY next year. You haven't heard the last of it. This series may be flawed, but I love it for everything it is, and nothing can stop me.
is my super suit?
I decided to take a recommendation from one of my family members on what to watch next, and I was recommended Suits. And damn, is it pretty good. It's like a lawyer version of Breaking Bad. Wait a minute. You got Mike Ross being your Jesse Pinkman, and Harvey Specter being your Walter White? Okay, this show is not at all similar to Breaking Bad, but it is a really good lawyer show, and seeing Harvey take on Mike as his new apprentice is really nice to see. And I love the two characters' chemistry so much.
Your Honor, my client pleads oopsie daisy.
This season ups the stakes with the introduction of Daniel Hardman, who left the firm to deal with his dying wife, and it's later revealed that he did some not cool things with the firm's money behind their back, and ended up being fired from the firm. However, he is back to take his rightful spot, and it's up to Jessica, Harvey, and Mike to get him out. And seeing how the creative they get in regards to going about dealing with him throughout the entire show is really fun to watch. They do manage to get rid of him, but it is most definitely not the last time we'll see him, as there are 7 more seasons left of the show. Oh god. And that's it. That's all the media I consumed. I made it my mission to get a lot done this year, and I think I did that and more. I plan to slow down a bit next year as I plan to make some major changes in my life going forward, so I hope that's not a problem for you guys. But regardless, I wanted to share my thoughts on what all I watched this year, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did making it. Stay hydrated, stay cool, and I will see you all next year. Bye-bye.